Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Lisa, and in this video we're just going to talk through how I've completed this commission of Benson for my friend for her 40th birthday. If you like this video, remember to like and subscribe. This piece is a tutorial available on Patreon, so if you're interested in giving this one a go, head on over to Patreon. You get given the line art, reference photo, material list, and everything you need to complete this with real-time, step-by-step instructions. And if you're interested in having your dog completed as a commission piece, send me an email from my website and I can get back to you. Alright, so let's get started drawing Benson. So before you even get started completing a commission like this, you just need to get a very good photo from your client. If you're working from a photo that is blurry, you can't see the details properly, or it's a bad angle or a really bad photo of the animal, it is really hard to make it an exceptional piece. So starting off with a really good reference photo is one of the main things that will sort of make your piece really stand out. And also, if you are working from a very bad reference photo, it's hard to get motivated. It's hard to sort of really enjoy the process because you might get frustrated because it's not looking the way that you want it to look. So there has been times that I have had to turn down commissions because the photo that they've given me just isn't good enough for me to be able to make a really good picture out of it. And so for pieces like this, I always start with the eyes. It really gives you the character of the animal. It really sets the tone for the piece, and it's a very good place to start, and then you can work on from there. So I did the eyes, then did the fur around the eyes and the head. Then we're moving on to the nose, putting that in, and then building on the fur from there. So for the base of this one, I used a warm grey one where it's sort of the whiter colour. Then in the creamer colour, I used the ivory. Generally, the way that I do it is I build up from light to dark. So when it came to the nose, I went in with the black and just outlined the nostrils and the outline where you can see the darkest bits. Then go in with a base of the warm grey one and start to put in some of that light ultramarine, and then start to get darker with the warm grey 3, warm grey 5, and then black in the darkest sections. I also used a soft white Holbein pencil, so this is just a white waxy pencil that puts down a wax resist, where it just stops you from being able to put any pencil over certain areas. So where you can see those little sparkly white bits on the nose, this is where I put the wax resist. Under the nose and on the mouth, there are a couple of hairs that are very, very white, and I really wanted these to stand out, so I used an embossing tool. So if you haven't used an embossing tool before, it's just like a metal tool that you can use to indent the paper. So this helps keep it nice and bright when you're going over with your pencils. You just need to be careful that you're not going into the embossed lines. If you get stuck or feel like this isn't working out, you can also use a slice tool, which I use a lot when we get down to the bottom of the fur. So the paper I'm using for this one is Strathmore Bristol Vellum paper. And it's really good to use for this sort of thing because you can just scrape the layers off very, very carefully, and they come up really well. So some papers that you use when you're trying to use the slice tool, it just doesn't come up very well. So this paper is really good for being able to put in those little fur lines with a slice tool. So when it comes to the mouth, it can be quite daunting just looking at all the different parts, and you can get overwhelmed with trying to put this sort of thing in. So what I do is just break down all of the shapes and all of the pieces and do them one at a time. So I started by putting in that little ear section, and then the darker section where the mouth is, and then moving on around the mouth, putting in the teeth one by one, and then moving on to the tongue. So for colour pencil, you really just need to break everything down, do things one by one, and it will all come together. You really just need to trust the process. And this is what's really great about the tutorial on Patreon for this dog. Everything is broken down. I give you the material list, all of the tools and colours that I'm using. We discuss everything as we go in the real-time tutorial, so you can learn all of the skills and techniques to be able to complete this one all by yourself. So when it comes to curly fur, this is probably the most difficult fur that you can do. With curly fur, there are a lot of directions, colours, changes in the fur, so one of the best things to do is just go through with one of the medium colours and put out the outline where you can see all the shapes in the fur. So the way that the fur is flowing is what you want to go and put in. Then you can go over with a base layer of either, for this one I use the warm grey one or the ivory, and then go in with the medium tones and also get the colour correct. So I added a bit of cinnamon in this piece as well and used some of the brown ochre to get that orange colour. And then where the darker sections are in between each of the curls is where you're putting your darker colours. So I use some of the walnut brown, warm grey 5, and then where it's really, really dark, some of the black. Then you can use a slice tool just to slice away some of the lighter sections and break up some of those lines so they don't look like sort of spaghetti. You sort of want them to look all jagged and like fur or hair. And then you can go back over, saturate the colours again, get darker or lighter where you feel like you need to, and then slice away more. So it's not just a cut and dry, put all the colours in, then you slice it away and it's done. You may need to go over these sections quite a few times to get them where you're going to be happy with them. Then when it came to the fur under the chin and on the body, I just worked on these in sort of small sections and did little bits at a time. I was a little bit random with this one, working on some sections for a while, then just moving on to another section. This sort of fur takes a long time, so I prefer just to move on to different sections and go in different areas just to mix it up a little bit because it does take a very long time. So as I mentioned at the start, if you're interested in having your pet completed as a commission piece, you can go onto my website, send me an email, and I can get back to you with pricing and the procedure, and then talk about reference photos and things like that. And if you'd like to give this tutorial a go on Patreon, please jump over there. You get given everything that you need to complete this one all by yourself. You also get invited to our private Facebook group where we can talk about what we've done, where we can share all of the pieces we've completed. Anyway guys, this is the final result. I really hope that you like this video. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks guys, bye.